There's a topic that everyone seems to agree on avoiding. One topic that seems to make everyone uncomfortable, and that's death. Do you ever think about it? Like, really think about it? I do, a lot. And you know what? It actually really inspires me, and I want to tell you why. Hey, my name is Peter Paul, and I left my teaching job to make videos. And in this video, we're going to talk about why the idea of death is inspiring. So first, let's talk about death. What is it? Death is basically the end of life, and in this case, our life. Here are 3 inspiring benefits you get from thinking about death. The first reason to meditate on death is it identifies priorities. When we know that there's a finish line, that this won't last forever, we begin to think, what is it that we want to do before it all ends? And while we can't do everything, we can do something. Here's an example. Remember when you were a kid on the playground and your parents would tell you that you had 5 minutes left before it was time to go home? I remember being very thoughtful in deciding what I wanted to do, looking around at all the options to see what one thing I could play on before I had to leave. Was it the swings, the monkey bars, the slides? Knowing that playground time would be over helped me to contemplate what thing was the most fun. Knowing that there is an end should help us to prioritize what is important. What would you love to do before it ends? Remember, there's a difference between what you want to do and what society wants you to do. I think if it were up to society, the questions would be, before it all ends, do you want to be the person with the most things or the richest person? Do you want to be the most famous? Do you want to be the most important? Are those even important if it all ends? Up to you. The second benefit to thinking about death is urgency and perspective. I have a life calendar. It's basically a giant poster that shows your life in weeks. And when you fill it out, you can see where you are and when you die, which statistically is 80 years old if you live in North America. And when you see how much life is left, it gives you this feeling of urgency. You know when you put things off for later, and later turns into a few years, this is a reminder that those years are limited. And in my case, I remember being 18 and wanting to make videos. And then I said, I'll wait till I'm 20. Then my 20s turned into 25. And I kept saying later, and 25 turned into 30. And then I looked at this calendar and I said, if I keep waiting, I'll be dead. So either I do it now, or I just don't. And there's a great quote by Tim Ferriss that goes, waiting for someday will take your dreams to the grave. Understanding my mortality has given me perspective and urgency to do the important things while I'm still alive. The last thing that pondering death offers me is meaning. Back in ancient Egypt, during parties, a skeleton would be brought in. Why? Because it reminded people that one day it will be them. So in the meantime, they should enjoy themselves. And this is where the phrase skeleton at the feast came from. I just found out it was a phrase because I just looked it up. To eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you shall die. Obviously, this is not an excuse to live recklessly, but it is a reason to live with a meaning. To the Egyptians, the skeleton at the feast meant that life should be enjoyed now. What does the skeleton mean to you? It's a big question, so maybe these questions will help. Think back in your life when you were the most happiest. What were you doing? Who were you with? Were you with other people? What were you doing? Maybe to you, life is about enjoyment and pleasure or building relationships. Maybe life is about giving and building something and contributing to others. Maybe it's serving a higher power. I'm assuming for most people, it's a mixture. And there isn't a right or wrong answer. There's just your answer. So there it is. The 3 benefits you get from meditating on mortality are, it identifies priorities, it creates urgency and perspective, and lastly, it creates meaning. So thinking about death is only depressing if you miss the point. And for the record, I'm not telling you to think about dying. I'm telling you to think about the idea of death. Big difference. And that's it. So as always, let me know if you have any feedback or if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I know your time is limited, so I do my best to make sure that my videos are worth your time. My name is Peter Paul, and I'll see you in the next one. So here's a full video about the life calendar if you want to see. And here's a video that the algorithms want you to see. And for those 3 people that subscribed to my last video, thank you. I really appreciate it.